Welcome, disc golf fans. We are here for final day coverage of the Innova Blue Ridge Championship at North Cove. This is a new course on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and today Nate Perkins is down in Georgia trying to qualify for the Champions Cup. Good luck to Nate. Hopefully he's shredding. So I'm joined by Pavo Stubstad.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here.
Super excited to show you guys an exciting final round on a course that really knows how to stir up the drama. Bradley Williams, one stroke above Harper Thompson and Kyle Klein. We also have Calvin Heimburg leading out our lead card, rounding out.
Connor, this might be Harper's first time on video. Do you know if he's made lead card at Silver Series or Elite Series before? I hadn't seen him before.
I believe this is his first lead card appearance.
What an exciting moment for the young man.
Absolutely. Starting off on a difficult hole one. Very skinny landing zone right here on the left. Path either side plays as hazard, and it creeps into circle one all around.
Welcome to
Whether you want to go up the middle.
Sunday, day 3 of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series Innova Blue Ridge Championship at North Cove. This is our lead card. Welcome to T-Pad 1, Bradley Williams.
Like I was saying, whether you want to go up the middle or take the big hyzer, there's a couple options here, but none of them are easy.
I do like that the hole presents players with options. You can go backhand flip up the middle, forehand up the middle, like you said, spike hyzer on the right, and I've even seen a few players go hyzer forehand on the left side as well.
Yeah, I really like when hole one gives you options and allows you to have creativity and play your strong suits. And Bradley, we know, very good at throwing straight shot, and that one barely moves off the line. What a start.
One, Harper Thompson.
Here's a look at Harper, turned pro in 2019. He's only 19 years old. I actually got to practice with him last week at Mill Ridge, and definitely not going to necessarily wow you with anything, but super well-rounded and very mature kid. He's looking to put down a good round today and let the world know what he can do.
And he's lining up the hyzer route here, out wide, nice and high.
This looks high enough to move back left, but not quite.
And that'll put him in the hazard, giving him about a 50-footer maybe to save par, with that biggest boulder on the green kind of obstructing his view of the basket as well.
Yeah, if you're not long right or left of this one, the rocks really kind of block your putt. So short right is kind of a no-go zone, especially in the headwind that he's going to have lifting his putter. Head right to left.
Three players, three different lines so far.
Ooh, that fortunately checks just on the top backside of the hill there, and the grass is very grabby on this hole, fortunately for Kyle.
Calvin Heimburg, the hottest player of 2023. Excited to see him play today.
Calvin hasn't missed a podium yet, and looking to continue that streak here at his home sponsored event. Going with that beat up eagle, looking for a little hyzer to flip over. This one looks overturned though. And yeah, you rarely see shots come out at the hazard. The grass is super thick, left or right here.
Yeah, you can see on the flag that right to left wind. I think as soon as that disc turned over, the wind just beat it down.
Yeah, up the middle is very touchy, especially in that headwind right to left, because as soon as you turn it, it's really hard to give it the distance you need.
And Calvin just conceding the bogey, laying up. Not much else he could do from there.
Harper can use this wind to swing it in, and almost does. Good to see him.
An impressive effort with that lie, with that boulder right there. He probably could just barely see the band.
Yeah, good to see him playing aggressive on the greens to start in his lead card debut. And Kyle makes good. Can only see the top third of the basket, but knows if he can clear that rock, he's pretty much in. He's been putting very well all week, so let's see if he can continue that. I'm going to need it to chase down this man right here, who starts off with the park job.
Great drive from Bradley. Visually, rocky greens like this are really cool to me, but how do you feel as a player when you can be inside the circle on one side of the basket and not even be able to see it?
I think it can be frustrating at times depending on the frequency it happens throughout the course. I think here and there it's nice to have those greens where you know you have to play to a certain side. It can add a layer of challenge to a more open hole, but I think there's times where it can be a bit much when it happens all the time.
At least it leads to some cool slow-mo shots, though.
It does, and it makes you get creative. It makes you throw some putts you might not. So, yeah, I think they have a good amount of it out here at North Cove.
I agree.
You just got to make sure maybe don't throw your favorite putter onto those rocks, or just make sure to hit the chains, you know.
As we move on to hole 2, a 390-foot par 3, there's a mandatory there off to the front right side of the tee pad. This whole creek area is OB all the way up to the flat spot. So if you hit one of these trees and don't cross in bounds, that is a re-tee. There's no drop zone. There's also OB down the right side, as indicated by those rocks you see. And there's also OB very close behind the basket, that same creek. Tough hole.
Yeah, this one's a ton of fun to throw, but it's a little scary when you're on that tee. You know anything that doesn't get up over the ridge is going to be big number territory. And Brad looks like a bit too much turn, but he really feathered the speed there. Oh,
Must have overturned it a little bit.
wow. I thought he might have had the good pace control that we're used to seeing out of him, but just not quite the nose up that he needs here. Kyle going with that PD 9-speed overstable.
That's it. Oh, yeah. And I forgot to mention in the drone preview, there's also OB long.
Yeah, it's not more than 25 feet back there, creeping into the circle. Our circles are under attack from the OB this weekend, and you got to really pinpoint all your shots.
Oh, no, Harper. That's going to be a re-tee after Calvin's drive, of course.
Let's see how Harper can handle those lead card nerves in this type of situation where it can feel like make or break almost, even though it's really early in the round.
Great shot from Calvin. Not quite as great as his shot from yesterday, where he almost aced this hole. For those of you who missed it, go back and check out round 2.
Yeah, no, I think that was round 1 where he hit the flag stick
Oh, I'm
on top
sorry.
of the basket. But yesterday, I think he put it super close.
You're
as
right,
well,
Connor.
so.
Thanks for the correction. Round 1, guys. Go check out round 1.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Good adjustment from Harper. Gonna definitely be able to clean that one up, hopefully just for a single bogey and avoid the big number. Brad for a deep par save. He just doesn't quite give it the pace, knowing that the out of bounds is only about 11 feet behind the basket here.
Yeah, it's tough to commit on a long putt like that with OB looming so close. Great putt from Kyle there.
If Kyle can make putts from that circle's edge range all day, he's going to be a dangerous player. He has such a good, well-rounded skill set throwing the disc. I feel like he's one of the best throwers in the game right now, and we'll see if he can keep dropping those putts.
Calvin with the birdie. And here's Harper to save a 4. That's a great bogey save, honestly. I mean, parking the re-tee.
Yeah, no doubt. This hole is very specific. You have to get a little bit of turn on an overstable fairway driver, and if you don't get the nose up, you're going to find that OB long most likely. And even sometimes when you do it right, that side slope is enough on the hill to just kind of check you up and make you roll out. Definitely a very specific and fun challenge to play. Slow-mo as Calvin climbs over that rim. Bogey birdie start. We know he's always dangerous on the course.
Yeah, courses like this definitely lead to colorful scorecards.
Without a doubt, and hole 3 is no different. You tee onto this peninsula inbounds area. Any out-of-bounds shots go to a drop zone that's looking at maybe a 220-foot shot into the green. If you can avoid that ditch, you'll have easier footing coming into this pinpoint green. We're playing with the sand trap as inbounds for a change. And if you want to go to this right side of the green, it is only about 25 feet across. Those bullseye whiskers are close. And yeah, definitely one of those holes that you want a birdie, but it can get you quick.
And Connor mentioned the first drop zone. There's also a second drop zone for players who go OB on their second shot, giving them maybe a 60-footer or so, kind of near the bunker.
Yeah, there's a couple of these progressive drop zone holes throughout the course where I think you really got to commit to your tee shots, because regardless of what happens, you're going to have a pretty solid advancement to the drop zone and an ability to at least save par if you execute. So I think you want to err on the side of kind of being aggressive on a lot of these holes and making sure you get to your spots.
They're all just kind of ending up in that collection area right in the ditch there, which leads to some tricky footing for the upshots. Ideally, they're trying to go just past that onto the flat area where you see our catch cam standing out there.
Yeah, this one, most players were coming up in that ditch. It really collected almost all the discs, and obviously you want to get past that little bridge if you can, but it feels like trying to reach past that just brings danger into play, and it's really easy to find yourself short of it, though. So most players willing to take the bad footing and hope that they have the stuff to handle it. But Harper, another error from him.
So he's going to be going to that drop zone number 2 that I mentioned on the green.
All shots from tee go to drop zone 1. Once you've established a lie in the fairway, you proceed to drop zone 2, and Bradley doesn't get any ground play. Only lands 10 feet short there. Most of the time you're getting up in there. Going to be an unfortunate out of bounds, and he goes to drop zone 2. Calvin.
Stay it. Wow. That was a bit fortunate for Calvin. I'm amazed that stayed in bounds there.
Yeah, he threw a good shot, but honestly 6 inches left of where he landed, and he's not going to get that curl up into the bowl. Kyle makes a good adjustment, plays that splice in there nicely.
Beautiful shot from Kyle.
Nice standstill in that poor footing area. And here we have about a 75-footer to save for these players.
I trust you know better than me. I stand corrected. 75, not 60.
Let's see if Bradley can make good to save par.
Oh my gosh, Connor. 75-footer to save par from the drop zone.
And our leader coming through some adversity here at the start. A colorful go at it, and putts like that can really make you feel like it's your day and keep you in that good champion's headspace.
Good birdie from Calvin.
Harper with another bogey. Hopefully he can dial it in and grab his first birdie here on hole 4.
I just happened to notice the hole stats there. This hole averaged exactly par. That's kind of funny when it works out that way. A hole that has plenty of birdies, plenty of bogeys, but it just averages out.
It is always funny to me. I really like looking at the numbers, and I feel like it seems like maybe like once or twice an event we see a hole play at even par. Good job on you, course designers.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Duvall there for his excellent course design. We see Kyle Klein leading after 3. We'll be back after a quick ad break.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
And we're back. Hole 4, par 3, 302 feet, uphill, blind off the tee. Probably shapes better for a backhand turnover than a forehand, but with a touchy flip-up forehand, you can get up there as well. Really cool green, as is tradition for this course. I love all the boulders out here. No OB to speak of on this one. One of the few holes on this course with no OB.
It is up to the right on the road there, but I don't think a single player found that all weekend. It would take a really bad shot and some misfortune to get there. Calvin, that is exactly what you want to do. If you can get past the basket here and not have to navigate the boulder, you're really feeling good about yourself, and it's hard to go too far long with that upslope. Kyle looking to jam this one over and have it slowly fight out. And he barely beats that last tree in the center of the gap that he needs to get past. Gonna have a very manageable birdie putt from edge of circle 1.
Bradley with a nice high turnover shot. Flexing back a little at the end. Perfect. These guys are making this hole look easy.
Yeah, this is one of those holes you really just kind of key in on hitting that initial gap on the angle you want, and the rest you just kind of have to let the disc do the work. Harper playing the forehand that we definitely see less of. It's a pretty skinny line, and the backhand definitely opens the gap up some.
Kyle hitting a very picturesque birdie putt there right over the little divot in the rock. You know that was part of the course design when they placed this basket right there.
Absolutely. It's nice to have a spot where you can have a little more of those chains available, and Kyle's been strong on the stripe all day. There's that birdie to start for Harper. Hopefully that can get him back settled into his aggressive mindset that he needs to try to make a push for top 10 or podium. And Calvin makes that one look pretty simple with his eagle turnover.
Looks like we're going to have a star frame here, Connor.
That's that diamond frame, you guys. Got to have 5 for a
there
star.
It is,
Pavel.
right? Yeah.
No.
Thanks, Barsby.
I'm a strong believer in that. And we don't want to be squares, so we'll call them diamonds, you guys.
There we go. Just rotate that square 45 degrees. So we take a look at Harper's forehand form there. Buttery smooth.
The lock's flowing. Like I said, he's a balanced player and definitely has very solid game. Hole 5, pretty unique par 4. Kind of have this turtle back ridge that just continues through the middle of the hole. Out of bounds marked near these rocks on either side, so you really got to come in flat and don't get too much of a check of a big skip on your first shot. Bite off as much distance as you want to make this approach a little bit more manageable. There's a left side straight shot available, or the more common right side hyzer for the right hand backhand player, trying to avoid that steep downslope on the right of the basket that once again leads to out of bounds inside circle 1.
It's an interesting hole design to have a tree just immediately in front of the center of the tee pad, forcing players to either tee from the front left or front right corner of it.
Oh, Calvin almost gets the unfortunate curl and flop on the face, but luckily he doesn't quite have the momentum, and we have some choreographed spotting going on here. But yeah, like you said, it is interesting to see being forced out to the outside, and I think this one's fun though because it still gives a number of options.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the spotters on hole 8 at Maple Hill.
Everyone's got to try to one-up each other out here. It's all in good fun, so we love it. Oh, this is a little high from Bradley. Gonna need to check skip on top of the hill.
Hopefully it doesn't roll there. Yep, it stayed.
And he gets the emphatic waves as well.
Wonder if those spotters were doing that for every card or just for lead card. If they were doing that all day, they would have gone some
just
exercise.
for lead card. I did not see them out there for my card. I don't think we even had a spotter, to be honest. They get 2 though, and watch out.
Oh no.
Flag down. All right, back to the serious business, Mr. Williams. Looking to put this one close, but he just catches a piece of that last big tree you got to beat. Still in an attackable range and not going to have that down slope directly behind the basket, so very, very runnable putt.
Harper with the pure hyzer around the right side. Checks up nicely, just maybe 25 feet.
And this one feels super routine, but there's just a couple dangling branches that you can't really tell from in the camera angle here that make you have to play it a little lower and less floaty and touchy than you want.
Not the best effort from Calvin there. Looked like the disc just slipped out a little early.
Yeah, rare misfire from Calvin in that 250 and in range. You almost would always bet your life savings he's getting up and down there.
Kyle showing us how it's done. Perfect upshot there.
Yeah, literally the perfect angle and speed right there for Kyle. Good disc selection too, and Calvin almost reaches that one in, but just doesn't quite give it the pop.
Yeah, this is, like you said, yet another dangerous green with that downslope just a few feet deep right of the basket. Wow,
Whoa.
Bradley.
Wow. Another long putt for Bradley, 2 out of 3 holes. Those are the type of things he's going to need to keep up with Kyle's clean throwing.
That's got to be camera jitters there is my guess. Every player, usually their first time on camera, they're a bit more nervous than normal, understandably so.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of that apprehension, and also the downslope behind probably didn't help either, but I'm sure we all know every pie has a number of ingredients, and, you know, we can always make excuses wherever it is. Just got to commit, Harper. Calvin into his little turkey streak. Kyle gets onto one as we approach a precarious green of the 6th.
Before we do that, let's take one more look at this beautiful putt from Bradley.
Watch the eyes, you guys. They never leave the chains. He stays focused on his spot the whole time. Doesn't need to watch the disc get there. Just needs to make sure his focus is lasered in. And you better have that laser focus if you're trying to win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, especially in the most challenging season that we've seen yet. And I think we'll continue to see that as our tour grows for the next decade and beyond.
I like how he kept it high, too, in hyzering at the end, so even if he missed, it wasn't going to go down that hill.
Yeah, very smart way to approach a putt right there.
So we move on to hole 6. This is an island green, as you can see from the map there on the right. Anything that does not land within the inbounds area goes to a drop zone that's maybe 40, 45 feet short. You probably know the distance better than me, Connor.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot. Maybe 50 at the most, but yeah, it's right in that range where it entices you just enough to want to run it and make that kind of gamble that comes with that steep downslope on the left. And another circle that, oh, actually, this one might have a full circle around it, actually.
It does, but the green is still treacherous in that any putt that hits basket has potential to pop up and roll OB.
Yeah, there you go. You can see it just has the circle one squeaked in, and Brad plays that one masterfully. Able to squeeze off to the left a little bit, which will make his putting angle more easy to commit to, and Calvin finds himself in a little bit trickier of an angle where he has nothing but the downslope behind the basket from there. Harper playing a bit more overstable flex. And even with the kiss off the tree, he has enough to stay in bounds. You really have to test that tree to get yourself to a good spot.
Great putt from Calvin. And as you can hear, between the tee shots and the putts on this hole, the rain has picked up.
I feel like Calvin, being from Florida, playing out in the elements and just being an outdoorsy guy the way he is, like, when it starts raining like this, he just, it seems like he has some kind of advantage that he grabs on. You expect him to play good because he has done it in the past in some crazy conditions. And he's kind of built that name for himself.
Good birdie from Kyle as well there.
Yeah, especially sticking to his stagger stance on a steep upslope can be really tricky for the timing of the putt.
These guys making it look easy.
I was wondering earlier if Brad was just sweating from a good warm-up getting ready, but I think it's just the occasional rain showers that we've been dealing with for the last couple hours.
Yeah, it could be. His shirt looked like that on hole 1, so it didn't happen during the round.
And yeah, this day was threatening some bad storms, and we're going to see whether or not the weather can hold off and just be rain, or will it bring the wind and lightning and all that good stuff too.
A couple of years ago, Connor, I covered the college championships here, and it snowed during the final round.
Wow.
The weather patterns out here in the North Carolina mountains are something else.
When you're in the mountains, you never know, depending on what ridge you're on, and it can be a world of difference. And here's that look through 6 holes. Kyle is 5 down, really putting the pressure on. As we step up to the 7th, I really enjoy this hole. I think it's a very tasteful distance for the challenge it provides, being a very narrow landing zone. That's preferred off here just right of this boulder as you come into the gap here. If you play something just short left of it, you will have some kind of high scramble shot, still leaving you a chance at birdie. But this one is kind of all about committing to your shot, and here and there you're going to execute it, but most of the time you're going to have some kind of a scramble into this guarded green once again perched into this beautiful granite boulder field that apparently got knocked off the mountain in a landslide years ago.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting factoid there. I didn't know that. I got to say, this is my favorite hole on the course, the second half, all the huge boulders. You mentioned in an earlier round, Connor, that it kind of gave you Iron Hill vibes, and I 100% agree with that, and that is one of my favorite courses in the world. I'm kind of sad it's not part of the tour anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say I like that one too, but
I think you have a good reason to like that one. That was your first Pro Tour win, wasn't it?
it was, yeah.
Anyway, back to the action here.
Bradley plays that one with a mid-range to make sure he doesn't have to test that boulder too much. Very smart and measured play out of our veteran on the card. And let's see what kind of shot he has from there. Probably a straight putter or flex forehand. Calvin with a very lucky kick, we would say, because right is preferred to left, especially if you can stay on the path. Let's see how he manages that boulder in his lie, though.
Oh, this looks great from Harper. Can it miss the trees?
Does it have enough to hold the turn?
It didn't quite have enough turn, but a good kick.
Great kick there. 10 feet left versus 10 feet right. That's a big difference on that shot. And here we see Brad going with the putter shot, just looking for a slight drift, but then to fight back. And looks like it checks up in a good spot. Hard to see whether or not slipped down the slope. And here we see him filming Calvin playing a lie up on top of the boulder. They figured he could not get into his lie properly, and if you were watching the live coverage yesterday, you would have seen that he definitely couldn't. His disc was wedged up into the boulder, and Brad making sure not to miss a good social media moment, trying to get some views on them reels.
Yep. Yeah, for those that don't know, the so-called rule of verticality, I've seen players misplay it a lot. You can't just take a lie up above the playing surface you landed on just because you feel like it. It has to be physically impossible to get a legal stance on the same playing surface where your disc is for that rule to be invoked. And like Connor said, Calvin had justification to invoke it there. There was no way to get his foot behind the disc between the boulders.
Yeah, you always have to make sure to try to give it the honest attempt, but the way his was perched there, he would have had his body leaning in front of the line. It just, he couldn't physically move that big of a rock. So Calvin making that putt look so casual. The delivery sometimes just looks so effortless when it comes out of his hand, but he just always finds a way to give it a chance.
I think that's just Calvin Heimburg demeanor.
Yeah.
He makes everything look effortless with that neutral expression he has on his face 99% of the time.
Yeah, he's really just established himself firmly as just this stoic character, and the legend will always grow and will continue because he is not giving that up anytime soon. Bradley had a tricky lie, wasn't able to capitalize on his smart attempt at birdie. His approach can be tricky.
Calvin getting the only birdie on the hole of our lead card here, and doing so from the top of a boulder. Not every day you see that.
Yeah, super cool to see some of the challenges that these players face on a course like the Gorge at North Cove. 3 different courses on this beautiful property. I'm excited to see it continue to expand and grow.
Moving on to hole 8, par 4, 584 feet. Big turnover backhand or forehand hyzer off of the tee. You want to get out right as far as you can. I think shorter and more right actually gives you a better angle to access the green versus pushing forward more. Second shot's a big uphill shot. Around this corner, there's OB lurking down in the woods to the left. As you can see on the map, there's kind of a bubble of OB that pokes out in front of the basket, making it even tougher than it looks. And then we've got an elevated basket here on a sloped green, leading to tricky putts as well.
Yeah, I think, like you said, getting off to the right, you don't need too much distance, because if you're down in the flat, you have easier footwork, whereas if you get up on the hill, it's going to be that uphill run-up that can kind of throw your timing, especially when you're trying to hit a gap accurately. And Calvin puts it to a solid spot. We've seen Kyle go to this backhand turnover mid-range all week, and let's see if he can drift this one over. Oh yeah, anytime you're hanging out with the cameraman, you know you're in a good spot. He's going to be a little bit tucked, so let's see if he has to go flex forehand or if he can find a way to throw a backhand from there. Bradley's really started to, I feel like, come alive with his forehand last year and this year, starting to use it more and just try to take what the course has given him, play it simple. You see Harper likes that mid-range, gets it more turned than Kyle, going to be able to move further right, and it should be a great window.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about there. Like, he bit off less distance off the tee, but he's going to have a better angle than some of the other players. Calvin's got a pretty good angle here, too.
Yeah, you can hear those shoes squeaking in the wet grass, and Calvin has a great upshot with maybe a rock. Hearing the love from everyone up at the, I think, Airbnb right there. Harper coming in a little bit hot and high, but honestly the right side filters you down almost every time, so I really like landing up high right on this one and letting yourself trickle in unless you come in and park it. Brad going flippy mid-range hyzer.
At least it kicked right. That could have just as easily kicked left into the OB.
Yeah, that seemed like a very fortunate kiss right there. He almost likely would have found out-of-bounds guarantee if he kicks left off that tree.
He couldn't see that tree from his lie. I remember at the time he mentioned, "Oh, what did I hit? I thought that was perfect." So,
yeah, this whole feels routine, but the upshot is definitely nuanced enough to cause trouble. Kind of awkward little jump putt with that stuff in front of him, trying to figure out. I also have a tough time jump putting from that far when I have my left foot on my lie. So I understand Brad's like kind of trying to figure out the body mechanics there. I think we're one in the same with that putt. And Thompson's cleaned it up since his rough start. Hole 8 feels like the last hole you can really kind of be breathing easy on this course before we take this turn on 9 and 10 and the course just really ratchets up. There's little ebbs and flows. There's stretches of the course you can kind of take a breath and try to score your birdies or take easy pars, and then there's stretches of the course where you know mistakes are going to get punished big time.
Bradley saves his par there.
Kyle drops in for the birdie. Played that one really well. Kyle's playing a clean 6 down through 8. Only missed 2 so far. Really applying the pressure. And another look at that slow-mo footage of Harper.
You can really see that body English giving it that Anheuser.
Absolutely. And hole 9. If you're a fish and you like bait, don't bite for this one unless you're going to hit the angle perfect, because this hole is just grabbing bogeys. Very common to see players not get the flip over on it if they're going aggressive and fade off to the left, finding this out of bounds. Or if you overturn it, there is also out of bounds to the right that we less commonly see players get to. We've seen a lot of players choose to lay this one up, but final round, we're looking for everyone here to make a move and try to score a birdie here.
Yeah, 496 feet for a par 3 is a big ask, but players are good these days. These guys can do it.
Yeah, especially with the slight uphill nature of it, and there's like a downslope behind the tee box where you can't quite get the momentum you might want. It feels like it kind of shrinks like one step off what you want on the big power run-up, so this hole is trickier than it looks. It's always so interesting to me to watch Kyle, how kind of fidgety he is with his thumb before he throws a backhand. He moves it around so much and then all of a sudden finds his spot at the last second and gets into that intuitive state maybe that way.
And throws a great shot in that case. I'll have to pay attention to that thumb work on his next shot. I didn't notice that before.
It kind of gives me anxiety when I watch it sometimes. It's like, Kyle. With Harper playing the smart, safe shot. He understands he might be out of contention to try to chase down the win here, and at this point, a top 10 finish or a podium finish would be huge for him. And Bradley also playing safe, but
It's just an early release, I think.
wow, you rarely see Bradley play a straight shot incorrectly, especially when his intentions are just to take par.
And after Calvin overturned his drive and found that OB on the right, he's got this upshot hoping to save a bogey.
I wonder if Brad's feeling some of that pressure that Kyle is applying, knowing that Kyle's up there putting for birdie, and Kyle's putt has been hot all weekend.
Yet another treacherous sloped green out here at the gorge.
We see Bradley put these under the basket all the time. Kind of hangs that one a little wide. Still got some meat on the bone to save bogey.
I feel like on shorter up shots, a lot of players might be aiming short right to just hit that flat area and not risk the rollaway. But then, of course, if you don't get far enough, you've got kind of a scary putt. So
yeah, this
Give
one's
and
that
take.
touchy zone where a couple feet makes a big difference. Oh, Kyle almost slips on the little seed balls that litter this hole.
Well, I think he chucked his disc aside and it started to pop up and roll, and he had to jump down to stop the rollaway.
Wow, another perfect putt out of Kyle. That beautiful spinning hyzer putt he has when he dials in his left to right. He is a dangerous player on the disc golf course. One of the best throwers of disc we've ever seen, honestly.
Calvin saving the bogey.
Calvin making it look easy as he does. That hair's starting to get long. Will he cut it off again? Is he going to perm it out? What are you going to do, Calvin?
Look at that perfectly symmetrical scorecard Calvin has for the front nine. Started and ended with a bogey, and then the 2 turkeys and a par right in the middle.
That's pretty satisfying, I can't lie. I know the bogeys aren't satisfying, Cal, when you're trying to chase down that win, and if you didn't have them, you'd be right there, but we like patterns.
I do anyway. And Klein with the only clean front nine, 7 down through 9. Incredibly impressive at a challenging course like this.
And the only other player, I believe, playing a clean round and making a move right now is Gannon Burr on the chase card, who we aren't seeing right now, but he is really applying the pressure as well, and he is making a move. There was that little last fidget from Kyle on the thumb, but next time he throws it back in, you guys take a look at it. Watch the eyes, see where the feet need to go, and then lock in on the target. Kyle has really figured out how to throw the disc, especially with this touch of hyzer that he likes to throw.
Yeah, he sure made that look pretty effortless for being a 500-foot drive almost.
Yep. Kyle is really in sync, and his putter is looking good right now. Through 9 holes here at the Blue Ridge Championship. And honestly, it's anyone's game. This course provides a ton of challenge, especially on those back 4 holes.
Here we see Gannon Burr making that charge. He is now in second place off of the chase card with a 3-stroke cushion over third place. It's a Kyle and Gannon battle for now, but like you said, Connor, anything can change. These Andrew Duval course designs really lead to huge scoring separation on any hole. I'm excited to see what happens on this back 9.
We'll see you guys soon.